Another week, another episode of Inside Melbourne. Welcome to you, our listeners. Jack Viney, co-host alongside me. G'day, Jack.
G'day, Clint.
Also, Oskar Baker joining us after his debut in the West. Oskar, how are you?
Good, thank you. Clint, yourself?
Yeah, going all right, thank you. How do you enjoy it?
It was a great experience, mate. Long time coming, but it was a great opportunity and experience to get out there for the first time with the boys.
Does it feel like a bit of a whirlwind?
It's sunk in the last couple of days, but leading up to it especially, and even the day of it, I was still pinching myself a little bit. But now that I've had time to sit back and reflect, it's kind of started to sink in.
Who do you debut against, Jack? Can you remember the day?
Yeah, I can remember the day. It was against Port Adelaide, round 1, 2013. Got pumped by 80.
Well, unfortunately, couldn't get the result in the West. Geez, came real close though. The match itself, how did you find it?
Yeah, obviously, as I said, a great experience, and I thought it was a really good performance from the boys. We can definitely take a lot of positives out of it, and I thought at one stage there we were definitely going to overrun them and get the win, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. But yeah, the game itself, obviously, new experience, big crowd. They're very hostile over there, and I guess they started to get behind their team as they got a bit of a roll in the last quarter there. And it was disappointing not to get the result, but yeah, it was a great experience and one I'll cherish forever, that's for sure.
You know, you don't really get bigger occasions to debut, of course, maybe a final or something like that, but, a Friday night game against top quality or reigning premiers, and it's in their home territory.
Hostile's putting it nicely, I reckon, because I called them feral on this podcast last year. I got into a bit of strife. But
it was, it's deafening being over there. So, were the nerves there pre-game? You're pretty confident,
cool customer,
cool, calm. He backs himself in.
Yeah.
Did you feel any nerves coming up, or you were just more excited?
It's actually, this might sound a bit strange, but I was actually really nervous the day before. Landing in Perth, doing the captain's run is probably when I was more nervous. The day of the game, I realised that it was just another game of footy, and it was just pure excitement. I know my dad and my family were really nervous, whereas I just took it as it came, and just chilled out and caught up with some mates during the day and tried to distract myself from the game. And then when the game came around, it was just another game of footy to me.
So you mentioned your dad being there and he presented the jumper. Let's take you to that audio right now, and then we're going to ask you about it straight off the back.
Mate, I've had a ball. We've had a ball the last few years, sitting back and probably 3 or 4 years watching you go up a level of football every year. And every time you've been up a level of football, you've looked at home, you've looked comfortable like you belong. Until you arrive here, mate, at the start line. And you've done it through a combination of tenacity, perseverance, a sheer single-mindedness to meet your goal, humility, but I think mostly, mate, resilience. And they're all fairly handy traits to have as a footballer. And all traits I wish I could say came from me, but I suspect mostly came from your mother. You made a promise to her, and you're about to fulfill that promise. And mate, I'm sure no one here is expecting any more of you tonight than to go and play your role. Just play your role. And when the ball's there to go, you go. Your turn to go, you go. But if you get a chance, mate, take them on.
Okay, so there was your dad. Your dad's name?
Lee.
Lee. So this is a big moment for not just you, but your entire family. Take us to that moment and how special it was.
Yeah, obviously, as I said before, it's something I'll cherish forever, and it was such a special moment to have Dad hand me the jersey. He said the other day he's been preparing that speech for a while, so he was glad to finally get it out of the way. But speaking to other people, I think they loved it, and they could hear the pure emotion in his voice and what he was saying. So, as I said, really special moment and one I'll definitely cherish forever.
It must be great for you to hear a speech like it too, Jack.
Oh, absolutely. I suppose you kind of just get caught in, moving on to the next game, and always just moving forward, trying to improve, and to just get moments like that, and Lee speaking to Oskar about what this game actually means to individuals and also their families.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great time to just sit and reflect. And I know, you know, myself included, there were a few boys getting pretty choked up by the speech. It was top quality, and you know, the part about you promising your mum, you know, that one day you'd play AFL football, I think it was a terrific speech, and you know, you should be really proud of yourself, mate, because you know, you've had to work for it, haven't you? You know, it hasn't rocked up and all just fallen into place. You really had to earn your spot, and definitely deserved every bit of it. So yeah, it was a special moment.
We saw the BCNA breast cancer match a couple of weeks ago. I mean, were you thinking of your mum when you ran out there on Optus Stadium?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if anyone noticed, but I actually wear a black armband in every game I play, and that's just a little indicator I thought of a couple of years ago, just to have her with me in every game I play, and just as a little reminder. So yeah, definitely. Even when I was lining up for that goal, obviously I would have loved to have kicked. I just had mum in my head thinking about that, and I don't know, it's just a bit of a routine now. I think every game I play, I'm always going to have her as a bit of a reminder, and that's in day-to-day life as well. So yeah, it was, as I said, it was special to be able to run out there and in a way have her with me, and yeah, I definitely feel like she'd be really proud, that's for sure.
Well said. And Jack mentioned how hard you've toiled for a couple of years now. I mean, you've had to wait just a little bit longer than most others. Now that you're there, are you determined to sort of put the foot down and stick in that senior squad? Yeah,
definitely. I feel like I played my role the other night and had an impact, and hopefully going forward I can keep my spot and cement my spot in the team and play some good footy. But yeah, as Jack said, and as you said as well, I've had to earn it. Obviously back in the last year I got closer at one stage, and then had some hamstring issues. So and that was a bit of a long, frustrating process to finally get through that and come out the end of the tunnel and I guess play some good footy and put some good performances together, and then get an opportunity. It's something I'm really proud of personally, and hopefully I can stay in the team for a while.
Jack, I know that you've spoken about this, but the coach also talks about the brand of footy Melbourne needs and wants to play. Do you think Friday night gone reflected that? I mean, I think it was, didn't get the result, but a huge step forward again.
Yeah, there was definitely elements of the game that, resembled that hard contested footy, and we got lots of opportunities off the back of it. So yeah, definitely feel like we're starting to find our feet again as a team. We obviously got some areas to improve on. They were able to stay in the game as much as we felt like we were kind of on top and had dominance in certain parts of the game. They just hung in there, which good teams do. And then it just took, a slight drop away from us and a lift in intensity from them. And because they stayed in the game, they were able to capitalise. And it was probably, flying back was one of the most disappointed.
Yeah.
The most disappointed I've been probably from a loss this year, because it felt like, we almost deserved it, but we just couldn't grasp it, which is disappointing. But yeah.
Oskar, what did you think of Max's game? Thought he was outrageously good.
Yeah, outstanding, mate. I think he really set the tone and won the ruck battle, and really set the tone as a team. His follow-up work was outstanding. Probably with that mark on the end, he'd try and take back. Yeah. But other than that, he was outstanding on the night and probably our best player by a long mile.
He was great, wasn't he, Jack? You must have been pleased for him.
Yeah, no, he's
Unfortunately,
top quality player.
Unfortunately, the thing that gets replayed is that hanger.
It's unfortunate, but I think he'll probably get paid royalties for the rest of his career for that, which is a positive to take out of it. But no, he's terrific. His presence in not only ruck contests but aerial contests, to mark the ball or to spoil it over the line was something we rate very highly as a team, and he did that terrifically. So he played a great game.
Another big match to look forward to this weekend back at the MCG, which is important, against the Giants. It's a special one too because we'll be wearing our Indigenous Guernsey. It's been designed by Mary Young, a local artist from Santa Teresa, which is a remote community located in the Northern Territory. I know the Indigenous boys love wearing these jumpers. No doubt you do too.
Yeah, I think everyone enjoys wearing these jumpers. They're artistically they're so special, and obviously the meaning behind them as well. When you pull it on, you really do feel proud to wear it, and they just look awesome.
They look great, don't they?
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you do feel pretty cool wearing them, chucking them on.
And a portion of the proceeds from each of these sales actually goes directly towards the club's Indigenous program. So if you want one, they come in both youth and adult sizes. So make sure you get into the Demon Shop and climb into an Indigenous Guernsey. Oskar, the Giants, you must... playing at the G would be something that you aspire to.
Yeah, well, hopefully I keep my spot in the team and I'll be on the ground on Sunday. But yeah, we'll see. If I do get the chance to run out again, it'll be a dream come true. I've only played on the G once in my lifetime. That was against the AS a couple of weeks ago. But to play there in front of the Melbourne faithful with the Indigenous jersey on will be a really special moment. And as I said, hopefully I keep my spot and I can be out there.
And you're a Queensland boy. Just tell us about your pathway.
Yeah, so a bit of a roller coaster actually. I was in the Brisbane Lions Academy for about 5 or 6 years up until I was 17.
Yep.
And they cut me at the start of 2015. Just went back, played local senior footy at my junior club at the time, Wilson Grange. So I played senior footy there and managed to play all right. Got an invite to Neefle Club Aspley for their pre-season. And then even then, still at the start of that season, I was emergency for the first 5 games, couldn't get a game. Managed to break into the side round 6 and then played the rest of the season there. And as the year went on, got in contact with a few AFL clubs. Melbourne was actually the first club I got in contact with. And then from there, it was a bit of a whirlwind and everything happened really quickly. And then I landed at the Ds. So it kind of worked out perfectly in the end. I wanted to come to Melbourne and get away from Queensland. Obviously, Melbourne's the football hub of Australia. So when the Ds read my name out, it was a dream come true.
It's great stuff. Who do you model yourself on or aspire to be like?
That's a tough question. I get that asked quite a bit. Leading up to coming to an AFL club, I was kind of compared to Isaac Smith from Hawthorn, just the way he runs and his leg speed and his disposal. So he was a player I kind of looked at coming into an AFL club. Ever since then, I don't know. I don't look at a lot of players. I look at some of our blokes who have played the wing role early in their career, like James Harms, Billy Stretch still, just with his patterns and whatnot. So they're blokes I'll continue to work with closely and hopefully I can model my game a bit on them and improve my game from there. And
Jackie, he follows a fine line of gingers at the Melbourne Football Club as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have a great tradition in blooding exceptional gingers. So there you go. Any former teammates or spring to mind that are
Geordie McKenzie.
Yeah,
springs to mind. The veg.
Shout out to Geordie if he's listening.
Great fella.
Hey, we're going to take some questions from the outer very, very shortly on Inside Melbourne. Stay with us with thanks to Zurich.
Thanks to our co-major partner and podcast sponsor, Zurich. For over 100 years, they've been ensuring the people and the things you truly love. And just like you, they truly love footy and they truly love Melbourne.
All right, welcome back to Inside Melbourne. Thanks to Zurich, here with Clint Stanaway, and he's being very modest at the moment.
He is.
Oskar Baker as our special guest. He'd be one of the most... Arrogant's a tough word, but he certainly has an ego on him. And he's come across very humble, a lot of cliches so far in the podcast.
Okay, so let's dish some dirt.
I just want to give you a bit of a story. So this is the very first week he was at the footy club. What were you drafted?
Pick 48.
Pick 48, so nothing, right? It's a nothing pick. And he comes up to me in the first week and goes, so Vines, how does it feel having the second biggest quads at the club now?
Oh, is that true, Oskar?
Is that entirely true?
That's 100% true.
Yeah, right of reply.
I do recall
I liked it. I like it when
it's a sort of
kids
entrance,
come into the club and it's got a bit of, they've
edgy.
got it. They're edgy. I like it. And from that moment on, I thought he was all right. All right, some questions. So we'll say, you obviously debuted on the weekend. What was the biggest difference that you noticed from VFL stepping up in AFL?
Yeah, I think the obvious one was the pace of the game, just the speed of the game. Obviously, compared to VFL and AFL, you don't have the amount of time to make decisions with the ball, even off the ball with your positioning. If you're out of whack, then you not only put yourself out of whack, but the rest of the team. So yeah, just the speed of the game, the intensity, and then obviously how hostile and loud that crowd is definitely has an impact as well. You can't really hear out on the ground, so you've got to do a lot of directing and finger pointing. So yeah, they're probably the two biggest things I picked up on.
That one's from Caleb. Daniel Peschel asked, did you always want to play AFL at the highest level, or did you like or play other sports?
Yeah, AFL was always the one I wanted to play professionally. I did play a wide range of sports as a kid growing up at school, like cricket, basketball, athletics and whatnot. But yeah, AFL was always going to be the path I wanted to go down and the one I wanted to succeed in. And
playing AFL in the Sunshine State, that must be a bit different.
Yeah,
with all the banana benders.
Yeah, it's definitely different to Melbourne footy, that's for sure. It's a bit warmer and it's probably not as big. But yeah, it definitely is different. But yeah, it was really good and I enjoyed it as a kid growing up for sure, playing with mates from school and whatnot.
Good stuff.
Question here from Christian Pardo saying, what's the best advice you've ever received? Can you think of anything off the top of your head?
Yeah, well, it sounds like a bit of a cliche, but probably just control the things that you can control is probably a big one I've had throughout my career. So yeah, just things will take care of themselves. If you do all the right things, then hopefully it falls in your lap. But yeah, that's probably, as much as a cliche it sounds, that's probably the biggest one.
Classic, but a goodie.
Yeah. It's a goodie.
Absolutely.
Hey, we've spoken already about the red hair, but as an extension of that, Jack Dixon says, how do you plan to continue the legacy of other prominent sporting rangers such as Cameron Ling, Daniel Merritt? Do you have, I'm just going to detour a bit because we've asked you sort of something similar.
Yep.
Do you have a favourite Ranger footballer?
I don't, but to start with, Jack Dixon's actually a friend of mine from back home in Brisbane, so we stitched him up
Jack.
there. So hi to him. He's actually in Canada at the moment, I think. So.
Is he?
But no, I don't. I was actually a big
just don't rate redhead footballers.
Well, not saying that. I was a big Brisbane Lions fan growing up, and Daniel Merritt was obviously a Brisbane Lions player and someone I followed closely. So I'd probably say he's been my favourite growing up, as well as Michael Voss, obviously, a pretty big name. But
big names.
Nah, in these current days, I don't really.
Hey, and there is a theme developing. Buster Molan, does red hair make you go fast?
Another mate of mine, so another stitch up.
Another shout out. They're loving it.
I've got the red boots and the orange boots and the red hair. So I think it does work for me. But yeah, they're stitching me up here, the boys.
A good question here from Nicholas. Don't know how to pronounce that last name, but so Perth is a long flight. They hook you up with some in-flight entertainment. What movie did you watch, and what would you rate it out of 10?
I watched a movie called The Festival.
The Festival?
Yeah, so,
is that the guy with Off the In-Betweeners?
Yeah, that one. So I'm a big In-Betweeners fan, so when I saw he was involved in that movie, I thought I'd give it a watch.
And?
Yeah, not bad. A few laughs, so yeah, I'll give it a 7 or 8 out of 10.
It's pretty high. 7 or 8 out of 10. That's a solid movie.
I'm easy to please.
Okay.
And when it comes to movies, I'm not a big movie watcher, so when I watch one,
what do you find yourself watching when you're on the couch?
I watch a lot of YouTube. Yeah, I'm actually a footy addict, so outside the club, I'll watch old games of football and whatnot. Yeah, I don't really get it.
What about all the various footy shows?
Yeah, I'm not big on footy shows.
Nah.
Now that I've started playing, I don't think I'll get into those too much either. So
they're hard work, aren't they?
Yeah, nah, I tuned out a long time ago.
Still watch the news, though, Jack. That's good.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. Just watch my fellow hosts.
You probably watch your own highlights, man.
Yeah, probably.
Well, Medi94 says, is Jack or Nathan a more grumpy captain?
Jesus. Well, he's stitched me up before, so I'm going to say Jack.
There's this perception that I like.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like this is a theme coming out in these podcasts, is that I'm a grumpy person, which couldn't be further from the truth. I'm an easygoing, loving character. With nothing but optimism towards everyone.
I mean, and you touched on it before when Oskar walked into the club, he sledged you, you just embraced it.
Absolutely. So I don't really know where this is coming from.
Anything else there tickle your fancy, Jack?
Classic pre and post game feed. You got any kind of rituals around your football?
Yeah, started a couple of years ago. I think a lot of boys do this, just pasta the night before. Lots of fluids.
So original.
Yep. Yeah, thought I'd change it up a little bit and do my own thing. And then post game, I'm a bit of a pizza fan.
Yeah.
Post game, put some weight back on. But yeah, not too dissimilar to many other people, I'm sure.
What's the nickname?
There's a few. Sauce is probably the main one at the moment. And then
Sauce.
Original.
Base is another original one. So
Base.
So yeah, they're the two. But yeah, Sauce started when I first got to the club and we were doing some contact and wrestling sessions, and Johnny Donahue was in my ear a bit, calling me Sauce, and it kind of took off from there, and the boys got involved. So that's hung around.
Who do you live with? Do you live with any other boys?
No, I live with two of my mates from back home in Brizzy,
good.
who are on North VFL's list.
Cool.
So yeah, footy lovers as well.
How's home life?
Yeah, really good. I think it's really good to have, I guess, people I know from back home.
Yep.
It's important to reset when you're away from the club and have those connections
Have a
outside of
normal
football.
life almost
So yeah,
as well.
it almost feels like I'm living in Brisbane, which is good.
Bris Vegas.
Brisbane.
Bris Vegas.
Do you get home much?
I did in my first year.
Yeah.
I wasn't homesick, but obviously with the stuff that happened with my family, I try to get home as much as possible. These days, mates and family just come down to me, really. The family will be down this weekend for my birthday, which will be exciting. So yeah, I don't actually get home that much.
21?
Yeah, 21.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, mate.
Doing anything special?
Nah. Hopefully running around the MCG.
Yeah, well, that'll do it. Hey, another one from My Heart Beats True. Hey, Sauce, do you keep your tomato sauce in the cupboard or the fridge? This is a really controversial one.
I'm a fridge man.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
I don't
exactly,
know,
Jack. I hear.
My parents did it, so I've just carried on, and
Oh,
yeah, I feel like it tastes better when it's coming out of the fridge.
I reckon in terms of condiments, maybe jam, because jam goes off in the cupboard if you leave it over too long.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
I've been eating off jam then.
But that's... no.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big, the only thing I'd ever have tomato sauce on would be a Bunnings snag.
An election day snag.
An election day snag. So I probably can't comment on this too
Yeah, okay.
passionately, but yeah, I'm not a huge sauce in the fridge.
A couple more to come home with. Got a few questions about the hair. You got rid of the long locks. What was the reason?
It started to annoy the coaches.
Oh,
Yeah, I was playing with it too much. But now that I look back on it, I can happily admit that I had no idea what I was doing at the time. I regret it big time. I look back at some photos and go, boy, oh boy, what was I running there? But yeah, prefer the haircut now, short. Don't have to play with it, easy to shampoo. So yeah, can't complain.
Who do you look up to in the current Melbourne side?
I'd say Vines. Vines a big one. Not because he's here, but
That's weak.
him and Nathan Jones as well. The two leaders of the club have been. Can I finish? They've been both really good to me, and they're leaders of the club for a reason. They really both of them took me under their wing when I first got to the club, and they've been really good to me since. Plenty of banter. Although I still think I have bigger quads than Jack. They've both been really good to me and really made me feel at home.
Hey, good stuff. Really enjoyed learning more about you, Oskar, and we wish you all the best. Just a quick one again on the challenge ahead this week, Jack.
Yeah, no, it's it's going to be a big task. GWS are in really strong form, and but we're confident. We feel like we're, like I said at the start of the podcast, feel like we're starting to get that contested brand of football back on track, and creating some really strong opportunities off the back of it. So yeah, we're looking to just keep going and see what we can do.
Good stuff. Oskar, love what you're doing. Happy 21st as well, mate.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
It's a special one. Hopefully you get to run out there on the G as a birthday gift. That's another episode of Inside Melbourne. We'll be with you next week with thanks to Zurich.